Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony G, and we're about to get started. Today's topic is going to be in regards to Tommy Sotomayor. Was he right? That's the question, though. So, first of all, just want to give a shout out to all the people that will watch this video. I'm not doing a live tonight and things, but I figured I'd just make a video. This won't be super long or nothing. But yeah, Tommy Sotomayor, for those that may or may not know, he's been a big space, been a big player for a very long time. I do believe 2009. That's when I started doing my first videos and stuff. Excuse me, back in 2009 as well. But as far as with him, he's actually one of the pioneers as well because he started out doing the videos, Fatherless Nation, and so forth. And we're going to be talking about was he right? And what I mean by was he right? Was he right about talking about black women? Was he right I guess you can say, pointing out the lack of responsibility and accountability in things? So this is something that many of us have, faced or gotten criticized and ridiculed just by simply pointing out some things that is wrong in the so-called black community. I call it so-called because we don't have a community. We don't have solidarity, and that is a major issue as well. But we're going to point out the things. I'm going to show some of his videos and stuff like that, and then we're going to start discussing it, right? So before we get started, to my brothers and sisters in the black community, it's time we be honest, right? Have an honest discussion about critical issues that affect us all, right? I implore you to stop justifying your actions or explaining yourself to everyone or anyone, especially those individuals who neither know you nor care about your well-being. This consists or a constant need to seek validation or understanding from strangers is not only necessary, but is also detrimental to our collective progress, right? It is quite frankly an expression of what some might call feminine energy, right? Which can often lead to misunderstanding, devaluation of our wealth. The world is watching, and what they see is troubling. They witness this cycle of behavior that only serves to undetermine our credibility as a community until we change our approach and stop behaving in ways that can be perceived as weak or overwhelmingly reactive. We will continue to face ridicule and skepticism. If we persist in this manner, it will set us back for generations, potentially for another 60 years. We often find ourselves engaged in endless discussions about topics we are not well versed in, resorting to racial name calling and gaslighting, while at the same time we present our best selves in predominantly white spaces. We dress to impress, speak eloquently, and strive to conform to the expectations of white men's workplace, often sacrificing our, I guess you say, authenticity in this process. Yet, when a black fellow person steps into a position of leadership or runs a black-owned business, we are quick to criticize them. We label them as coons, Uncle Toms, or accuse them of thinking they are somehow superior. It's disheartening to see this hypocrisy unfold right before our eyes. The ignorance displayed by some members of our community is exhausting and quite frankly nauseating to witness on a daily basis. Sorry, on a daily basis. I reach my breaking point I reached my breaking point a long time ago, and it has come increasingly difficult to stay silent while observing this destructive cycle. It's high time we reflect on our actions and attitudes supporting one another and to strive for a better future together. Only then we can begin to change the narrative and elevate our community as a whole. This is basically it. So put this together, and many of you that are Black will agree with what I just read because it seems that we have like two sides here. We have the people that are Black that do exert accountability, responsibility, so forth, and they understand the criticisms of us as a whole, as a people. Then you have another group of Blacks, right, which are basically, I want to say, lack responsibility and accountability, but they expect a free ride. They complain, they argue, gaslight, name calling, racial slurs, and so forth. And this has been the narrative for a long time. I don't know when in the so-called Black community that this narrative has not been the case. When I came into the world, because I'm a Generation Xer, right? And this is what I always remembered it. I never seen solidarity. The few times that I have seen it, it didn't last very long, even in my household. So this is one of the things I should say in basically with some of my family members as well too. So this is an issue, right? So yeah. So as we're addressing this and things, and this is some of the things that when I see Tommy Sotomayor, very, very intelligent brother. And, you know, when I watched his stuff, even back then, with the debates and so forth, excuse me, with the debates and things, some of the people just weren't ready. They really didn't have their facts in order. One thing, if you watch Tommy enough, Tommy is a very, very astute individual. You know, I got a friend that that's the same way. I have to be on my A game all the time because if you say something, and a lot of times we talk and we don't talk to understand or talk to make a point. We just talk, and that's where the emotion comes in. And I see where Tommy would catch them in their own, and what is it? Hypocrisy is what it is. And I've seen many of these guys, especially the men, they would get caught up in their own hypocrisy. And this is the thing that I address here, what I read to you guys, you know, because if we are these kings and queens and all this other kind of stuff, we don't seem to carry ourselves this way and things. And I just want you guys to understand, I address this in most solidarity. I try to be sincere, trying to get us to listen to what I read. And once again, I want to see solidarity amongst our people. But unfortunately, we can't seem to agree on just the simple things of what I just read. There's a serious problem in the so-called Black community. And Tommy has addressed it primarily from Black women. And this is another topic, and it's very, very, what's the word? Very, very sensitive topic. Because when you criticize, even with our own, when you criticize someone, because again, we have a cultish type mentality. And this is, and what I mean by that is that you're never ever supposed to attack or criticized. I don't call it an attack, but they look at it as an attack. Black women don't like to be criticized at all. They're like pretty much the only particular group. There's other groups, and women in general don't like criticism, right? Nobody likes criticism. But black women in generally, not all, but generally, they don't like criticism at all. And with Tommy, he points out the key issues in regards to their hypocrisy, things that they say, things that they don't mean. And this is with black men too. A lot of black men, unfortunately, they kowtow and they bow down to black women and they go with the black narrative. Protect her at all costs. Let her cook. Let her do her thing. Let her be the queen and the diva and the goddess and all this other stuff. This is the narrative that we have heard for so long. And with black men, most of the time, they still practice this type of narrative. They go with this type of agenda under the, well, I guess you can say, under the hope of her acknowledging him. Because why do it unless you think you're going to do something? I mean, or be able to get something or whatever. Or maybe not, because it's been grilled in us as being black people. If you grew up in a black household, black community, they always get a pass. Black women in general. Moms, aunties, cousins that are females and so forth, their grandmas, they all get a pass. Grown black men kowtow every time. So the strength, what it appears when people that's non-black, and many of my friends notice this as well, they see the black women running things and the black men like, okay, because when they're in a relationship, you see how black women talk to black men, and it's almost like a mama-son type of situation. I never seen it where, the times that I've seen it where the man, and then she respects him. There's a few times I saw that, but that's not the narrative. The narrative is that with the patriarch system, the 92% of black women that, where, excuse me, most of the narratives, I don't know exactly what the percentages are, but let's just run with it. Majority of black women are targeted from the advertisement, even down to the political parties, which is the Democratic Party. Now that for sure is 92% of black women. That's who they target, right? Because they know that they are the say-so. They run the black household and so forth. And you look at the majority of black women, was about close to 80% of them that are single with children. So the Democratic Party knows this, right? So this is why we get this type of, I guess you can say, black women, and you get this this matriarch type of system, right? So we're gonna go into Tommy once again. So with Tommy Sotomayor, I watched a lot of his videos, and they are funny. I had me cracking up and things, and some of them, most of the time, I just actually crack up, because it's very, very funny. Try to make the point, always start off calm. They still don't seem to get the point. And with me, it's like I always wonder, it's obvious that he was meant to do this, because had it would have been me, I would have given up a long time ago, because it goes back to when I addressed this. And I'm saying for all you guys, I'm saying this to my brothers and sisters in the black community, and they say this again. It's time we have to be honest and have an honest discussion about critical issues that affect us all, right? And what you need to do is stop justifying your actions or explaining yourselves, right? And this is basically what it is, right? Now, I'm not talking about Tommy right now. I'm talking about us in general, especially those individuals who either know you or nor care about you or your well-being. Because at the end of the ride, let's face it, because really, like my grandmother say, You're throwing pearl before swine, man, is what it really is. And we have to stop throwing pearl before swine, right? This constant need for seek validation, understanding from strangers is not necessary, right? And I'm not saying that for most of us that actually get it, because most of us that are black, that is intelligent enough, we're not going to waste our time with people that don't agree with us, you know. But we are going to be called out on it because, as I said before, um, because of this cycle that keep perpetuating this behavior, right? And this is basically what it is. And it tears the community down for its credibility. Others look at us and they see, where we'll ridicule each other. And it's sad that we can't even see. When I go into a lot of these spaces and I just watch the lives, I notice in many spaces, everybody in these black spaces, everybody is trying to talk and they all talk at the same time. They have the lack of respect for one another. And this is why others really don't tune in or they don't take this stuff seriously. And even with some blacks, they don't take it serious because all you hear is like white noise. In this case, black noise, Black noise, wrong button. But all you hear is black noise. You know what I'm saying? Instead of white noise. Right? So, but that's all you're hearing. Whole bunch of screaming, hollering, yelling, everybody trying to be heard. And it's something not just that most of us as blacks don't have respect for one another, but because we felt like we have been silenced for so much or so long. By the time we get together to speak, and everybody, and then sometimes what a person may say triggers another person, and then they'll start coming in, instead of waiting their turn. And I've seen it on Tommy's show. I've seen it on other shows that are even worse. At least with Tommy, he'll try to moderate. And everybody in these black spaces do not know how to moderate. I'm sorry. You do not know how to moderate. And this is one of the other things, because if people are screaming, hollering, and yelling and calling people punk MFer and all this ish, and you be and then the ish, you can spell out what I'm trying to say and all this other stuff, calling each other ninjas. I mean, people that watch this stuff, especially non-black, they have a good old time, man. They just got a little popcorn, seeing the natives go at each other and stuff like that, and it's just far too long. But they always talk about how the white men do this and that. It's just victimhood at the end of the ride. It's just really, really sad, though, all this type of stuff is happening. 1 minute they're strong, next minute they're victim. 1 minute they're strong, next minute they're victim and things. So, but with Tommy has a very uncanny way of how he deals with interacting with people. And it's, again, with him, it's not about being in agreement. He's not looking for the echo chamber, but he wants to have a conversation. And I always say a lot of the blacks that go in there, they really don't want to have the conversation. They automatically come in hot, come in defensive, because whatever their viewpoints or what they heard about Tommy or what they don't like about Tommy, and the way that you get to know someone, the better way of diffusing prejudice, because really what it is prejudice and ignorance, lack of knowledge, right? Because again, I never met Tommy either. I never met him. But what I have saw, how he is willing to have the conversation. And right there, that's not even celebrated. He have given countless times for people to step up on the microphone. They won't have the conversation. The question is why? Why? You mean to tell me you just want to fight it out or argue it out instead of just saying, well, let's talk. Let's talk and get to a resolution. And you would figure But this is what intelligent people do. But like I said, everybody is not on the same page of intelligence, which is okay, which is okay. Intelligent people have the conversation and they come to some type of resolution, but they at least come to the table and have the conversation. They don't talk over each other. They don't put each other down. They don't resort to name calling, because that's low level intelligence right there when you're doing that stuff. Or, okay, I don't have the vocabulary, or I'm not very articulate, so let me just go ahead and insult them. And this is far too often that this happens. I've seen women do it, men do it, and it's really, really sad, because you waste all this time. You got the person that you may think you may have a beef with, and when you give an opportunity to say what you need to say or address a concern, many of them fail to communicate that. And it's quite embarrassing, because you figure that everybody get up on the channel, everybody's grown. And then when people that are grown adults, you're supposed to be able to communicate very, very well. If you can, you better have some type of communication without being hot, emotionally charged. You can just have a conversation. I may not have to agree with everything Tommy says, but at the same time, we can have the conversation because we don't know each other. Same thing for a lot of you guys. We don't know people. Now, the way I talk with my friends that I know is different. If we have a problem or whatever, we once again, we talk. I'm not quick to want to jump and fight and want to kick somebody's what, because, I mean, shouldn't you want to have a conversation, find out what the problem is, instead of exerting energy and being charged and being upset? So this is what I'm saying, though. And I would say this, Tommy is right about a lot of stuff. And his primary focus, I notice, it's about Black women primarily. And I know some that behave like that as well. We all do. But by pretending that that person doesn't exist, we can't pretend. Excuse me. Yeah, we can't pretend. We know that happens more so than often, very more so than ever. What they would call ratchet, hood, ghetto, glamorous, ghetto queens and all this other stuff. We know that goes on. But since it's going on like this, it's all about the lack of accountability and being responsible. And this is what Tommy Sotomayor tries to address a lot of these sisters on their behavior, because many people are noticing and looking, since he's been leading the charge on this, addressing and bringing up the issues with Black women. And we know that mental illness runs very, very deep in a lot of our families as well. And I see a lot of the mental illness things that they do when they just get emotional outbursts, and they'll go from like 0 to 60. It's like a trigger word. It's almost like saying that, okay, there's a Manchurian candidate, or I'm a handler, and I can say a couple words that activate them. Tommy used to call them, the Terminators, the Black Terminators, or whatever, and all that stuff. So, and when he came up with that, it was just hilarious. Me and my friends still laugh at that sometimes. The BT 1000s, BWs, BTs, or whatever. It's been a while, but something like that, right? And these pretty much everybody that knew that, even non-Black, they knew what that meant, because they were programmed for destruction, right? With these sisters, I've seen them destroy each other. They'll jump. Really. And when you find out what it was all about, and it's a lack of communication, misunderstanding what they heard somebody say and without getting the facts, which is sad. It's like, don't you want to get the facts before just going ham, hard ass MFers? You want to just go out there and do that? and you got children. It's like, this is one other thing. Tommy have many videos. What type of an example are they setting for their children? But again, nobody can judge them. You know, and I want to say this again, ain't only God, no, ain't only God can judge us. No, not when it come down to black women. No one can judge them. If God or Jesus came down right now, he would have a hell of a time because nobody can judge a black woman. Are you kidding me? No, none, right? None. This is serious. This is the problem right here. Because since no one can judge them, hey, so it goes back to, was Tommy right? Absolutely. He was absolutely right about this, you know, right? Because again, the ignorance displayed by some members of our community is exhausting, right? As I mentioned earlier. And quite frankly, it's nauseating to witness on a day-to-day basis. It really is. When you have to see this type of behavior on a day-to-day basis, right? And even for myself, I have reached a breaking point a long time ago, right? Right? And to so-called leave the so-called black community because I wasn't getting nothing from it. It's very toxic. Because if the groups of them, or just in general, black men and women in general, if most of them refuse to accept accountability and responsibility, you have nothing. And this is my attitude for it, you know? So again, this type of observing this destructive cycle, and this is what blacks see, and this is also what non-blacks see. They see this vicious, destructive cycle that continues on, and it will not stop. How long has it been? I mean, we're going back what I say before, potentially another 60 years or so. We're talking about over two more generations again. Really like three. We're talking about 3 more generations of this type of stuff. We should have nipped this stuff in the bud. But I understand where this stuff is coming from and things, but it's trying the most intelligent trying to tell the less intelligent, okay, we can't seem to come together. It's like 2 type of classes of people. That's what it really comes down to. This is what I see. My observation is really, we're talking 2 classes of black people. The ones that are intelligent and the ones that lack the intelligence, right? Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. This is what I noticed, you know. Tommy Sotomayor is a very, very intelligent man. I mean, I got to give him his flowers on this, though, you know. Very, 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 very intelligent. And I've seen him get down in the debate. I've never seen Tommy deflect. I never see him avoid a debate, conversation. He always answers. He always gives the other person, the guest on his show, respect. There's the other things that I noticed. I noticed they talk over Tommy. Not one time I've seen Tommy have to disrespect anybody unless if it's challenged. If it goes, you know, if there's a reason for it. But other than that, I never seen him the aggressor. It's always them. It's always the guest or someone else. And it's sad. It's sad that so many people that could have had the opportunity and just keep their word. And that's another thing. Black people don't keep their word. And I'm in agreement of Tommy with that as well. They don't keep their word. Most blacks don't keep their word. And this is another problem. You know, we don't, you know, as a group, and it's sad though, we should be, especially black men, we should have the reputation of keeping our word. And I want you guys to think about that. Keeping your word, because your word is bond. When you keep your word, if you can keep your word, people respect you, whether they like you or not. But they'll at least say, like with Tommy's case, there's people that don't like Tommy. But one thing they know about Tommy, he doesn't lie. Never caught him in a lie. He always came up forthright by telling the truth. And to me, that's very admirable. And we should be celebrating people like him. And unfortunately, we as black men especially, we think it's soft. We think that you sucking up, or I ain't gonna say the other words, but you know what I'm saying though. You deriding is what it is. They say all these type of things because once again in the so-called black community, having these type of conversations is not favorable, right? It's not favorable. I'm saying, when is it ever favorable? Because every other race acknowledge their heroes. They acknowledge people that are bright, intelligent. And the thing that's really sad, ladies and gentlemen, is that a lot of black people in general, they don't support and hold up their heroes. They always seem to tear them down. Everybody, and it's like, tear them down. They don't stand by them. They don't hold them up. They don't protect them, which is another problem. Everybody got to be a pimp, and everybody got to be a hoe. And pimp for the man and hoe for the women. And this is a mentality that black people, most of the time, or some of the time, they may see each other as that. But the intelligent ones don't see each other as that. They just stay in we just stay in our own groups. Myself, I just kind of stay in my own group. But I still will acknowledge people like Tommy. Not that many on the social media. I hate to say it. There are some out there, maybe I don't know them. A lot of them out there that I've seen, I just shake my head. I'm not going to say no names, but they're faking it. And they liars. Very rare I'm going to see somebody that keep it real and want to have the conversation. Not the beef, but the conversation. Because conversation rules the nation. Without conversation, you're going to get a lot of resistance, animosity. This is how wars happen too. All because of the lack of communication and conversation. And then sometimes I myself begin to wonder, with some black people, they have an issue communication, like communicating. And it's not really a strong point. It shows up in black relationships. People misinterpret, or they will just misread something, all for just not having a conversation. So this is a major issue. So let me go ahead and pull up something here on timing, because I've been speaking for like 33 minutes. Let's take a look at it. Still got this. Sorry, cough. Sorry about that. All right. So let's go ahead and do this here. All right. Let's take a look at it here. Let's see here. All right. How many meets black female empowerment leader? Let's see here. All right. Okay. Let's do this one here. I'm gonna pull this one up here for you guys. Hold on for a minute. I'm gonna pull this up, and then I'm gonna share it. All right, let's see here. All right, let's take a look at it here. All right, let's go ahead and share it. And folder, studio. Which one you want to share? New folder, back screen. All right. All right, hold on for a minute. Notes, documents, new folder, entire screen. Let's just go with the entire screen. All right. All right. So we'll go ahead and pull this up here. I'm going to slide this over here. I really want you guys to see here. Okay. All right. All right. So this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and play this. All right. Let's see here. All right. Put this about right here. All right. This was, I remember watching this when, this was like 7 months ago. Tommy Sotomayor, this is with the Saint, right? This is on this channel. He listed it as debate with Tommy Sotomayor, Rage Out. I'm gonna bring up some points about this. This is like a reaction video as well too, where you guys will basically be able to see what I'm talking about. Because some of these guys, they're very, very intimidated by Tommy. You can tell. And you can tell that this guy, and I'm familiar with this guy called the Saint, but I'm just gonna let the video play and then I'm gonna talk about it. All right. Let me stop this for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. This is a type of stuff that I remember watching. Okay, two black men, right? And non-blacks see this stuff quite often. Everybody know. And no fault of Tommy's, because like I said before, Tommy wants to have it. That's why he came on the platform in the first place. He was being honest. A lot of people haven't heard of the Saint and the Sinner. I haven't heard of this guy until recently. But when I found out that he was having this, whatever the debate was about, and it seems like the Saint and the Sinner had a beef issue with Tommy about some stuff that Tommy said on the show. And you can tell that the Saint and the Sinner don't like Tommy Sotomayor at all. You can tell, you can see his body language. You can see like the pompous, conceited attitude, like saying, I'm better than you. And I've run across, everybody have run across people that behave this way. Don't know him out of a jar of pickles at all. Don't know him. Don't know each other. You would figure, wouldn't you try to get to know someone and find out what seems to be the problem when you try to explain? But let's go on and play it. And then I'm going to go further on. So here we go again. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Instead of saying, could you please lower your tone or whatever, but you're yelling, you're hurting my ears and all this other stuff. It's just the way that he said it, though. It was just, the guy really didn't want to have the conversation. He wanted to have a beef section. This is what it was. And the stand in the center, in my opinion, I felt like he was very intimidated by Tommy. Just going to keep it real. Anybody that knows Tommy, he may raise his voice a little bit, but it's never out of malice. But here we go. This is a grown man telling another man how he shouldn't be making pouty faces. And this is the type of stuff that, that I don't agree with. I mean, this guy got to take up for another man. The guy, if there was a real beef, the guy that, because really, when I watched that show, Fresh and Fit, and you have to go back in regards to that, I just want to bring up a little piece. This right here is a classic, what I've been talking about. This guy tried to come off as being polished, try to pretend to be somebody that he's not. I don't care, but at the same time, he never really wanted to have the real conversation. And that's why I say I stay out of a lot of black spaces. Certain ones I wouldn't mind going on, would be an honor. Like Tommy's, I wouldn't mind going on there. And I'm not going to go on just anybody's black space, because we know that a lot of these content creators, a lot of them are jealous of certain individuals. If you have more views or whatever case, and getting monetary, monetized, I should say, and so forth. This is the stuff that I don't like. So there's only certain people that I rock with when it comes down to content creating. I don't, being honest with you, I don't do a whole lot of collaborations with people anyway, but in this particular case, this was just blatant, outright disrespect. It really was, So I'm not going to continue playing this. I just want to show a little bit to you guys regards to this. Excuse me. A little bit of this, and a lot of this stuff even go more. I think there's another one here that I can probably pull up. Let's see here, and then I'm gonna stop it. All right, let's go ahead and do this here. Now, this is a panel here, and I'm just going to be really real with you. There's something to be said when you have more than one black person in a space or a particular area. It gets heated, and right now it look like it has some type of order right now. But unfortunately, I always say to myself, this ain't gonna stay like this. You know what I'm saying? So it's really sad. People ain't gotta like each other to have a conversation, but I would say we're gonna have the ways to, come over here and spend time with each other. Let me stop this here a little bit. Sorry about that. If we're gonna spend time in this particular space, we should be trying to come up with some type of resolution, whatever the disagreement with it or the debate or whatever, you know. What is this one? Tommy Sotomayor debates Mr. Let Go. Do black men control their own image today? And this is what it is. We already know we don't. You know what I'm saying? We don't control our black image. But these are some of the people on here that got shows and stuff. I haven't heard of these people, but I wanted to pull up something better. This is a multi-space one. I didn't want to be dealing with that. Just want to kind of do more of his one-on-ones and things like that. But y'all got the gist of. There's a lot of other ones though, for some of you guys, but it wasn't really supposed to be a reaction either. Just kind of brought up some of the stuff. But this is more of a shout out for Tommy because, like I said, he is the type of guy that will have the conversation sincerely. Everyone that go on there aren't sincere about having conversations. Whatever they can do to dethrone, because they look at Tommy as the number one guy on the top of the totem. Says if I take him down, then I become famous. And that's the type of attitude that some of these individuals have. Sad but true. So therefore, this goes back to my point again that we have to stop entertaining low life individuals in certain spaces. You see what I'm saying? Because with that to be said, it becomes, just a waste of time. Like I was reading earlier, it's a waste of time. You know what I mean? When you really think about it, because you're gonna get this type of stuff, and unfortunately, man, this is gonna be the thing where it's gonna create a problem, man. It always have. It creates a problem. I know with Tariq Nasheed and Tommy, that's a beef. I think they come to some type of resolution now, but that's another thing though too, man. We definitely have to do better as a people and things, especially when you got somebody that want to have the conversation and then the person that don't want to have a conversation and wants to keep the beef going. We got to overcome this, figure out some type of way because whether it's a black man or black woman, there still should be some things that we should have some type of respect on each other. And unfortunately, I just don't see it. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and end this video today. I just wanted to address some things and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and close this window. So I just wanted to talk about it and stop sharing this as well. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to bring that up. Just a shout out to Tommy Sotomayor again. And things. So I've been following him for a very long time. And I know he's on Rumble right now. You guys can check him out on Rumble and things. And I have reached out to him, though. I definitely wouldn't mind going on his show and things and basically talking about some of the things just to have a conversation. That's all I'd be willing to do, just basically have a conversation with him. And we'll be talking about some of the things that I have talked about in this video because that's the thing, though. He's better than me, though. I wouldn't entertain it with these people. I don't do the debating thing, though, because it's just exhausting at this point. But other than that, I thank you guys for watching the video. I don't really do a lot of videos. I do more lives than the videos these days, but I figured I wanted to do a special video addressing the issues as well as acknowledging Tommy Sotomayor and things. The modern day Renaissance man. You don't see that often, but hopefully this will encourage other people to look at people, not just with Tommy, but other people in the so-called black community, and acknowledge people for their gifts. And I'd like to see more. Excuse me. I'd like to see more black people acknowledge people for their gifts instead of tearing each other down all the time. If we come with a criticism, there's a reason for it, but we should be big enough to be able to accept it. And some of us, I've realized, cannot accept criticism. Criticism is one of the major truths out there when it's spot on and right. Don't mean to be ill-willed or being mean or anything. It is what it is. But I thank you guys for listening to some random guy speak. Once again, I do appreciate it so much. My name is Tony, and I look forward to you on the next live. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I am out. Peace.